Hi, welcome to this Pick a Reflection. This one is going to be about how to apply fair relating to this relationship. So we're not going to look into the relationship at all. I'm literally just going to pull 3 cards from my fair relating reflection deck. Sorry, this is my 3rd reading tonight. I'm going to take 3 cards from this deck, which you can buy on my website, and you can apply it to the relationship you have in mind when you choose any of these. So use your own intuition to decide if one or more of these has information for you to reflect on, and have a relationship in mind for each pick. Okay? And this is timeless, so you can come back later and use it again for a different relationship or a different pick at a different time or whatever. Okay, so let's do pick 1. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So pick 1. Hold on, I'm going to put this here so I don't drop any cards. Oh my gosh, I just realized it's like almost 11:30 at night. I lost track of time, see? That's great. It's like losing track of time that's the stuff you want to be doing, right? Is the stuff you do when you lose track of time. I literally have been doing this for like 3 hours and it felt like 20 minutes. So, cool. Alright, so actually 4 cards came out. Pick 1. Let's take a look. Okay, we got part ways. So maybe there's been some anger exchanged, or maybe it's time to dissolve the relationship altogether. Inspiration instead of admiration. Honor instead of pride. Okay, so this is saying, like, don't let your pride get in the way of the decisions that you have to make, or of making the decision, that's right for you. Like, you don't want to say, oh, I've invested so much in this already. I know it's not working and not making me happy, and I complain about it every day, but, how can I walk away from what I have invested in? Well, no, I'm sure that you've experienced yourself as a loving being during your time in the relationship, so take that. And when we look at inspiration instead of admiration, it's like whatever you admire in someone else exists in you. So be inspired to that for yourself instead of feeling like you're losing out on something that can't be replaced. You know what I mean? Like if you put someone on a pedestal, all they can do is knock themselves off for you. And let's see what else. Express care for the other's best interest. Share what you have learned and or decided. So if there's been some sort of falling out, or something didn't go your way, or you've wronged someone, you may need to express that you do care about their best interest, and share that you've learned something from the situation, like that you want to behave in a different manner. Or discern if the other has learned and grown. It's like, if this is asking you to part ways, perhaps it's because the other party doesn't seem to want to grow and learn together. Allow the experience to impress upon you instead of impressing your will. Like if you thought this was going to be your happily ever after, and you've been sticking to it and devoted to it to make it work no matter what, maybe you can kind of withdraw that attachment to the outcome in order to like back up a few steps and like look at it and let it show you what it actually is, instead of trying to make it into what you wanted it to be. Okay? So this isn't to shame or blame you. Maybe that's why, like, it's like saying, like, this isn't about pride, because this is, let's honor the process that you went through to get to where you are. Let's celebrate how far you've come. There are gold nuggets in this situation that you're taking with you. And your freedom is a big one. Your freedom from whatever was making you unhappy in the situation. So even if the parting of ways wasn't going to be permanent, at least take the time to process through all the information you have and reflect on these type indications that have been shown here, so that you can come into balance on the situation, okay? And it'll help you kind of let it go while taking the high road, Okay, now we're going to move to pick 2. Pick 2, 3 cards. Okay, you got honor yourself, honor them. So whatever's going on right now, like, it's not for us to say that someone else is wrong or should be doing better or anything like that, right? Their process is their process. Your process is your process. You have to, respect each person's sovereignty and the position they're in. They came in with a whole soul plan for their own selves, and they have to be true to that, and it's best for us to honor that for each other. Like, people aren't made to live up to our expectations. They're made to honor themselves and their processes. So it's best if we can do that for them and ourselves. Give them space. And then anger requires space. Okay. So if someone's process is that they are angry, you can honor that for them, that they're angry, instead of trying to change them or control them or convince them they're wrong, and then just take space, because anger requires somebody to be present with a part of themselves that might not be comfortable having to rein itself in or explain itself to someone else, right? Anger requires space. So it's best to give space in this situation. I think, with 2 cards saying it, I think it's probably best. Okay? Alright, pick 2. Now we're going to go to pick 3. Pick 3. First we got, what is the opportunity in this situation? So maybe you're looking at it from one angle, which says, like, something's wrong here, oh, poor me, and I'm not trying to make fun of you or make light of anything that's happened here. But in order to help us get out of any victimizing or victimized stance, it helps to realize there is room to find an opportunity in this situation. So if we want to switch our focus, it's going to feel a lot better to look at it from that point of view. What is the opportunity in this situation? Like, is it an opportunity for me to humble myself? For me to have learned something about myself or someone else? For me to find a creative solution? For me to adjust my course? Let it go. Accept how you feel in the surrender. So whether it's a situation or a whole relationship, you want to pay attention to how you feel when you surrender it, or when you surrender the fight in it, or when you surrender the relationship itself. It's like that's going to bring up some feelings. Be present with those feelings. Okay? And this is also a way to make sure that we're not attached to an outcome or having expectations of other people. So even if you were in a relationship that was secure, you might find yourself doing this as an activity to free yourself from any attachment or expectation that would have caused imbalance in the relationship. Find out what the issue is so you know what needs to be solved. Yeah. You may not be actually even clear on what the issue actually is. So what can you do to find that out? Is there a question you need to ask? Do you need to meditate? Do you need to back up, slow down? When you let it go, and process how you feel, do things look differently? You know? Like maybe the issue is actually that you're trying to avoid feeling a certain thing. And once you are able to feel it, then this person gets to show up in a different way. You know? Okay. So pick 3, that was your reading. And we're going to move on to pick 4. You deserve your own kindness. Maybe you've been beating yourself up in this situation. Maybe you have been trying to be like a people pleaser and be kind to others, and it's asking you to kind of turn it back in on yourself. Grudges. Okay, so you may be beating yourself up by just carrying a grudge, because it says, grudges are heavy burdens to carry. Honor how you feel. So even if you're angry, it's okay, but accept it and then, move on, move through it. Like, you have to accept how you feel first so you can make peace with it. And then, you can let it go after you've honored how you feel and accept. If you're the one who can love yourself through that feeling, then you're not going to need to carry the bag of the grudge to remind you to honor the way you feel later, because ultimately that's what a grudge is. It's us waiting until the time we're ready to actually process and accept how we feel during that situation. The grudge means that we're pointing our finger at someone else as the blame instead of actually being present with our pain. Okay, one more card. Well, I guess 2. Spend time alone. And this makes sense given that there may have been a reason to feel like there was a grudge to hold. But forgiveness formula. It says accept how you feel first. Be with your feelings. Then accept how they may feel. So you can't know how they'll feel unless you're asking them or they're sharing it with you. But you shouldn't even go there until after you have honored how you feel. Once you accept how you feel first and you're present with your feelings, things are going to kind of loosen up and you won't have some sort of reason why you have to defend yourself or justify yourself anymore. You can just be open to what they might have had a different perspective or a different experience or a different reason to be the way they were. But this is asking you to spend time alone. So that would be so that you can process these things and give yourself the self-care that you have been alerted to needing through this interaction. Okay? Alright, pick 5. Do you love the experiences you have with them? Is it self-loving to continue them? So, are you having experiences that you love with this particular person? And if not, is it self-loving to continue them? Because when we love, we have to be in the equation. We can't just say, oh, I'm offering unconditional love to the expense of ourselves. We're not supposed to sacrifice ourselves to be unconditionally loving. Unconditional love includes ourselves. So be open to receive. So maybe you've been in a masculine energy and it would be beneficial to go into your feminine energy where you can receive inspiring thoughts. Maybe a solution would come. Maybe it would just be that you were being more open to what is there. You could receive, like maybe there's a gift trying to be given to you and you can't receive it because you're in masculine energy taking action. Okay, 2 more cards came out. They're on their own timeline, not yours. So if you're not seeing eye to eye with somebody, it's because they're doing their own thing that you can't quite relate to. You kind of like, your focuses are not the same at this time, and that's just what it is. It's like you're not going to be able to rein them in and like convince them that your idea and your perspective and your vision for your lives is better than theirs, because they're totally not with you on that level. Discern is understanding the goal in this experience. Like if you're questioning them and like, well, why would you want to do that? Like, are you saying that because you want to shame them into thinking that they're wrong? Or are you actually trying to understand what they're doing? Are you trying to join them on their timeline by understanding? Or are you trying to shame or blame them into thinking they should be joining you? You know what I mean? Like, if understanding isn't what they're trying to do, and it's not what you're trying to do, then that's an important piece of information here for this relationship. Because understanding is just like love. If we can't offer someone understanding, it probably means we haven't been able to offer ourselves understanding. So it's important to offer ourselves understanding, meaning find out what our motives are, what is our intention, why are we acting in this manner, and then go from there. So be open to receive your intuitive insights about what's going on. Okay? All right, pick 6. Here's your reading. Pick 6. You got, do you love the experiences you have with them? Is it self-loving to continue them? So, are you having some good experiences? Interesting. This is literally 2 repeat cards from pile number 5. So, you may have come from pile number 5, or this could be, just an additional place where this same kind of message needs to come through. But be open to receive. So get in your feminine energy where you can trust your intuition. And you may want to forgive. So in order to forgive, you'll want to accept how you feel first, be with your feelings, then accept how they may feel. So you've had some sort of experience that you may not have loved, is the indication of this card. And if you're offering unconditional love, you have to be in the equation. So is this something that happens a lot? Like, is this a pattern that you're seeing? Be open to receive the insights that are there for you. And then, like, you may need to forgive yourself for staying in a pattern of allowing yourself to be treated in some manner that you don't actually agree to, But it may just be that there's some sort of situation that you're seeing from a certain way that, there's another way to see it. So it's like, can you work with this by naming 3 ways the opposite is also true? So whatever it is you're thinking, whatever it is that you receive in this being open to receive, like, whatever it is that you have a kind of difficulty with, name 3 ways that the opposite is also true. So, like, say you feel like you're being mistreated, or they're asking for forgiveness or something like that. Is it true that they are mirroring you? Is it true that the opposite is also true? May or may not be, but this might be a way for you to get really clear on how you feel, especially if you're not, if you haven't been using your intuition because you've been in fearful or traumatized states through being activated in this relationship, by kind of being reminded of certain ways that you felt when you were treated certain ways, you know what I mean? Like, this is kind of saying, take the extra step to make sure this is accurate. The way you're perceiving it is accurate. Like, make sure that that's what you really think, and make sure that there's not another way to look at it. Oh, I just broke the deck, and it says you got the book a session card. So you may benefit from having an outside view to kind of work through things within this relating dynamic. Like, there may be some gold to kind of mine from this situation that you could more easily do if you were talking to somebody about it. So, I can help with these kind of situations. I can assist you to with reflection tools and conversations and questions and charts and readings and things like that. Or if you have a therapist or counselor, life coach, someone that you feel comfortable working with, it might be beneficial to bring this situation to them to kind of chew on a little bit. And the last card, I actually pulled a few more cards for this pile just because I wanted to round it out a bit. Allow the experience to impress upon you instead of impressing your will. Yeah, there's something to learn from this situation, so be open to receiving what that is. Okay? Alright, Pick 6. Very good. Thank you for being here.